Hey guys, and welcome to the finale of my new series, all about the planet. For the uninitiated, every day I cover a different planet in our solar system, going by its distance from the sun, though it will exclude Earth and replace it with Pluto. In today's episode, I'll cover an object that is the center of one of, if not the, most controversial decisions in astronomy history, Pluto. Now, before we get into this lonely rock at the fringe of the solar system, I'd appreciate like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay tuned for future content. Okay, so before we get into why it was demoted, let's look at what Pluto has. It's pretty small, only about 2/3 the radius of our moon. But don't let that deceive you. For such a small object, Pluto has 5 moons, and while 4 of them are just small asteroids, the fifth, Charon, is half the size of Pluto itself, making it the largest planet-to-moon ratio among large objects in the solar system. And I say that because if we included asteroids, well, things would get crazy. Their combined gravities make it so that they can't orbit they orbit a single point known as the barycenter, and it's the barycenter that's orbiting the sun. So really, Charon is not a moon of Pluto, and they should really be considered some sort of binary system. Speaking of orbits, Pluto's orbit is really weird. You see, all the other planets orbit at more or less the same distance from the sun, with little fluctuations here and there. Pluto, however, has a much more elliptical orbit. The planet can be anywhere from 29 to 49 times further out than Earth across its 248-year orbit. This means that every 124 years or so, there is a period of 20 years where Pluto is actually closer to the Sun than Neptune. This most recently happened between 1979 and 1999. As you would expect, this means that Pluto is mind-numbingly cold. At its furthest point, it can be as cold as negative 400 degrees Fahrenheit or negative 240 degrees Celsius, not too much warmer than the ambient temperature of the universe itself. Okay, so what are some interesting things about Pluto? Well, it does have a thin atmosphere, and turns out it's mostly nitrogen, so skies on Pluto are blue just like they are on Earth. It would probably be a much dimmer blue though. When you think about it, Pluto is similar to Earth in a lot of different ways. For starters, it has mountains and valleys, pretty typical of rocky planets. What's really crazy though is that some of these mountains are snow-capped. Yup, it was recently discovered that there is nitrogen snow on some of Pluto's mountains. Pluto also has real snow, or in other words, huge ice deposits on its surface. A lot of what we know about Pluto comes from a probe called the New Horizons spacecraft, which was launched in 2006 and made a flyby of Pluto in 2015, sending us treasure troves of data about the planet. Okay, so it's clear that Pluto is a pretty interesting object. So why did it get demoted to a dwarf planet? Well, it boils down to what the IAU, or International Astronomical Union, decided what the definition of a planet was. According to this, there are 3 criteria for a planet. 1, it's a planet with a diameter of 2,000 kilometers or bigger. Pluto checks that one. 2, it has to have a strong enough gravity that its surface is a sphere. Again, Pluto qualifies. So what's the problem here? Well, it's the third criteria is that the planet needs to clear the neighborhood of its orbit from small asteroids and other debris. Pluto, however, is in the Kuiper Belt, which is home to millions of icy asteroids and comets, nowhere near empty. Because of this, Pluto was demoted to a dwarf planet. The problem is, it's not entirely clear on whether or not the definition should exist. You see, none of the inner planets have entirely cleared nearby debris. That's why near asteroids exist. So theoretically, under this definition, Earth and its neighbors would be dwarf planets, with the gas giants being the only true planets in the solar system. This obviously isn't true. So this really underscores just how hard it is to completely clear the neighborhood, and thus some have argued for an altering of the definition, or even its removal entirely. Unfortunately, the removal of that criteria would add dozens of planets to the solar system's roster due to the large number of big, spherical celestial bodies. So the only logical option would be to grant some sort of exemption to Pluto. Overall, it's a very controversial decision, and one not a lot of people are happy about. It was actually one of the driving factors behind the launch of the New Horizons probe. And that wraps up the video about Pluto, and with it, the All About the Planet series. This series has been wildly popular, especially the Mars video, so I might continue doing videos like this, where I talk about specific objects in our solar system and beyond. Let me know if you want videos like this in the comments. And as always, I would appreciate like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell to stay tuned for future content. Thanks and have a great rest of your day.